Welcome to Women Mastering Midlife, where we dive deep into the rich complexities of womanhood in our middle years. I'm your host, Victoria Bird, pharmacist, certified women's health coach, and your guide on this transformative journey. Whether you're navigating perimenopause, thriving in menopause, or mastering midlife's many transitions, this is your weekly dose of expert guidance, compassionate support, and a judgment-free space to explore it all. So get cozy, hit that play button, and let's rewrite the narrative around this remarkable stage from being something to dread into a beautiful transition. Hi there. Today's episode is going to be one of a bit of self-discovery for you and a little bit of a peek into what life would be like as a menopause coaching client. So one of the things that differentiates a health coach from a traditional health and fitness plan is that nothing I do is cookie cutter, and nothing I do with one client would be the same with someone else. So this is the beginning of the journey for many women who work with me. And this is something that I think all midlife women should take the time to do. So the episode title is called Vision of Health. And the reason why I call it a vision of health is we dig into what health means to you as an individual. And I think that by this point in our age, we have tried many diets, if not every diet that media and magazines have thrown at us to try, or celebrities have done that have found them success. And so we're still looking for something, right? We're looking for some way to either lose that midsection fluff that comes with midlife or get healthier in a sense of being more athletic, having a better cardiovascular stamina, having better lab work when we go to the doctor. At this point in life, sometimes you see a raise in blood pressure, cholesterol levels start to go up, especially if you're not supplementing estrogen. So one of the things that is really important to me is that women begin to understand that the harder you push as a woman to fit your square peg into a round hole, the harder you try to get your body to adhere to a diet or a workout plan that is created for the masses or created without your life in mind, you're really climbing up a hill with a boulder on your back. You're really pushing against what your brain wants to do, what your body wants to do. And if you were to sit and listen to your inner voice, and this might feel a little woo for some of you, but if you were to sit quietly and really listen to your intuition, to your core values, you will find that a lot of what your internal voice is telling you is not what you're seeing on television. It may not even be what you're hearing from your spouse or your friends or your family. And so this is where we take a moment to determine what your vision of health is. And I want this episode to be the beginning for you to open your eyes to the idea that as we grow with age comes wisdom, experience. We've failed forward, we've fallen on our faces, we've gotten back up, and we really need to start to understand what's important to us and what will get us through for the next half of our life. So I ask my clients to sit quietly and to listen to what their internal voice is saying. And many of you have done the 5-year plans for your careers, right? In your 20s, when you're in college, what's your 5-year plan, right? Oh, I want to graduate. I want to get my master's. I want to get married. I want to have 2.5 kids. I want to get promoted in this company, and I want to work in New York City and carry a briefcase and ride a subway and all those things. And you make this 5-year plan for yourself. So now it's time to think about a 5-year plan for your health. And maybe it's just a 1-year plan, but I think I like to think really big picture, right? I want you to think about what you want life to look like in 5, 10, 20, 40 years from now. And if you're thinking about what you want your life to look like in 5 years, it's going to be different for every single woman. And this is why cookie cutter diets don't work, because I might have the vision that in 5 years, I will be 49. And I want to have the stamina to ski in the winter, to hike or kayak in the summer. I want to be able to move my kids into their dorms in the fall and out of their dorms in the summer to come home and back to me. I want to be more flexible. I want to also enjoy movement. I no longer want to be restricted to such a plan that I am dreading what I am doing. I want to find love in movement. Maybe I am more flexible. Maybe I am the same size. Maybe I'm not. That doesn't matter to me as much anymore. The importance for you should be what makes you feel like you in your body. And so in thinking about this, close your eyes, sit quietly, or if you're walking, please don't close your eyes. Or if you're driving, goodness, don't close your eyes. But I want you to really just take a deep breath in and exhale out all the BS that everybody throws at us on what health and fitness should look like. And yes, you've heard what worked for you in the past isn't going to work for you anymore. And that is true. But also, let's stop fighting our bodies. Let's start embracing who we are. And if who we are is someone who wants to run an ultra marathon, then that is the goal. That is you in a year, or that is you in 5 years. And we are going to celebrate that is what your goal is. If you want to have beautiful biceps or strong shoulders, that is something we should cheer you on to do. If you aren't worried about aesthetics anymore, you don't care about getting bikini body ready, but you really don't want to ache every morning when you get out of bed, and you want to be active, and you want to go walking around the lake with your friend once a week, and you want to go hiking in the summer, and you want to travel Europe, and you don't want to have to ask a kind stranger to take care of your overhead bag. Then we sit back and we think, okay, so we have an idea of who we are and what we want to be in 5 years or a year. Now we have to figure out how to get there. And this is going to look different for everyone. If you are a person who wants to be in ridiculous physical shape, that is going to require a ridiculous plan, right? We see these images on Facebook of women in their 50s who are in bodybuilding competitions, and they have a six-pack, and they have these gorgeous triceps and all their muscles they're showing off every day, and they share their what I eat in a day posts, and you look at them and they do these before and after shots, or they are in their robe looking tired and gross, and then they rip off their robe and after, and they're in this fancy gown strutting down their hallway. And it makes you wonder, where am I going wrong in my life that I'm not going to look like that? Well, you know what? That person, they probably spend 1 to 2 hours in the gym every single day, and they are watching everything they eat, and they are not drinking alcohol, and they are getting 8 hours of sleep a night, and they are mitigating their stress, and they are living a life for that physical appearance. So if you're not ready to do all of that, then that's not going to be your end result. So maybe we need to course correct and decide what works for you. And it's totally okay if being a size 2 isn't what you want to do. If fitting into your jeans when you're 20 isn't something you want to put the work in for, stop trying to fit into your jeans that no longer fit you. This is a time to really listen to what is important to you. Don't think about, well, I need to look good in my jeans or this dress for my husband or my spouse, or I want to go back to my high school reunion and just wow them with how amazing I look. Because if you beat yourself up to get there and you're fighting against what your core values are, what your lifestyle is like, it is going to be a struggle. And who's to say that you wouldn't go back to that high school reunion looking better than you've ever looked in your life because you're finally at peace with your body? I think when you really sit down and think about what it is that is most intrinsically important to you and what your personal vision of health is, then getting there will all fall into place. And I work with clients after they've decided what's important to them, and they push aside the norms and the expectation of others, and they really focus in on what's important to them. It's amazing the boundaries that we're able to set around that vision. It's amazing what we can prioritize when we have that vision. And it's amazing the results we have when we focus on that vision. And I think there's also this intrinsic need to be youthful, to have a 25-year-old body, without the understanding that some of the aging process is just our bodies getting older. And it's okay if it's not something you necessarily are ready to embrace, but there's also a part of it we need to accept and understand. We may not be able to run a race like a 20-year-old. We may not be able to lift weights like a 20-year-old. We may not be able to wear clothes we did in college. But when we have acceptance that this is my body right now, I accept it for what it is, and I am going to do what I need to do to help my body reach a goal of XYZ. One of my favorite podcasts for midlife women, she's a naturopathic doctor, and she is a registered dietitian. Her name is Jen Huber, and it's called The Midlife Feast. And I was listening to an episode about body acceptance, body resignation. And it really hit me. I messaged her and I said, this episode really strikes me because I completely understand where you're coming from. There's an unhealthy notion out there about body acceptance. And there are people that are not taking care of their bodies and saying, this is body acceptance. But really, and when she breaks it down, body acceptance is saying, this is my body right now. And it could be due to XYZ circumstance. I haven't been exercising. I haven't been eating healthy. I had an injury. I'm going through menopause and I'm so exhausted. I can't even get out of bed, let alone work out right now. And I accept that my body is where it is right now. And that might be where you accept to stay. But if you have a vision of health and it's not where you are right now, then we need to help you find ways to move into that healthy space that suit your lifestyle, your budget, your schedule, your desires. Because if you are, again, trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, it's not going to stick. It's going to be really painful and miserable, and you're probably going to make everyone else around you miserable. So I'm going to keep this really brief because the vision of health it's a quick first step into getting into any kind of health coaching program with me. And it's really taking time. I have meditations that I offer clients to listen to that are visualizations of the future. If you need one of those, message me. I'll send you one of my favorite visualizations. But we need to get back to listening to our inner voice and drown out the noise, drown out the voices of other people telling us who we are, who we should be, what we need to be, and really stop and listen to what really makes us happy. And it might be exactly what other people, quote unquote, expect from you, but it might not be. And that's okay. It's okay if you are married to someone who is an avid cyclist and they want to ride 30 miles a day and that's not speaking to you. That's okay. We need to find out what speaks to us. I think a lot of times we focus so much on everyone around us, right? The needs of our children, the passions, the hobbies, all of the things that we as parents do with our kids. And I don't know about you, but as a parent, I always tell my children, we always need to see something through. But if it's not your passion, if it's not something that speaks to you, then when it's over, we need to pivot. We don't need to keep doing this. And so, gosh, wouldn't it be great if as adults, we sat back and said, hey, this isn't my passion. I need to pivot. So I leave you with a bit of homework today. Let's give ourselves 5 minutes of quiet. If you're in the car and you can think about this safely, or you're walking and you can think on this safely, or if you're at home or at a desk and you have time to pull out a piece of paper, sit, breathe quietly, and think about, in terms of my health, what would I want to see in a year? What would I want to see in 5 years? And if it is lose 10 pounds, be a consistent runner, get a personal trainer, be able to do 20 push-ups, be able to go to yoga, hike Mount Rainier, and whatever it might be, think about what would really stand out for you in terms of health. And then we work backwards. We work backwards from where you want to be, right? So it's where do you want to go? And then it's how do you get there? So the first thing we would discuss is what healthy looks like to you. And don't let other people's opinions of you or what you should or shouldn't be doing skew your vision of health. I get so frustrated with the medical gaslighting and the media and our history, growing up with Teen Vogue and Teen Cosmo and all the things we saw on television. Let go of the definitions of beauty. Because at this point in our lives, we should recognize that all of that stuff just clouds and disables us from becoming our true selves. I appreciate you listening to this very woo-woo episode today. We're going to get a little integrative wellness and holistic health mixed in with some prescriptive care, because we're such a complex individual. We're such a complex species and gender. And it's time that we start individualizing care and we start individualizing health. So take this time and let me know. Join me in the Women Mastering Midlife community and talk to me about what your vision of health is. What's important to you? And we can continue this conversation there. And until next time, make sure you've done your homework. Make sure you've given yourself this time. You deserve it. It's an important part of self-discovery and health. And then we'll dig into how to advocate for the care you desire, where to find the helpers and healers that you need on your journey to get there, and know that you have support and a cheering squad. Catch you next time.
Thanks so much for joining me today. We'll be back next week for another episode of Women Mastering Midlife. Until then, find us on Instagram at Women Mastering Midlife and join my free Facebook community, Women Mastering Midlife, to continue our discussions. If you have any questions that you'd like answered on an Ask Me Anything episode, send your emails to hello@missvictoriabird.com.